There's something about the food you grew up with that stays with you forever. The taste, the smell, the memories attached to every bite. If you grew up in 1960s Australia, you ate things that simply don't exist anymore. Not because they weren't good, but because the world moved on and left them behind. Today we're looking back at 15 foods from 1960s Australia that we desperately want back. The treats, the meals, the everyday staples that shaped our childhoods and then vanished without warning. This is the one that hurts the most, the chocolate bar that defined Australian childhoods. Polly Waffle was a wafer tube filled with marshmallow covered in chocolate, and it was absolutely perfect. You'd bite into it and get that crunch from the wafer, then the soft marshmallow would hit, then the chocolate would melt. It was huge too, a proper substantial chocolate bar that felt like you were getting your money's worth. They discontinued it in 2009, brought it back briefly, then killed it. Again. But in the 60s, Polly Waffle was everywhere, and life made more sense because of it. Nothing has ever replaced it, and we want it back properly, the way it used to be. Violet crumble still exists, but it's not the same, not even close. In the 1960s, it came in purple foil wrapping that you'd carefully peel back. The honeycomb inside was different too, crunchier, more substantial, with a deeper toffee flavour. You'd smash it on the table first to break it into pieces. That was part of the ritual. The honeycomb would stick in your teeth and you'd spend the next hour picking it out, but that was half the fun. Modern violet crumble is softer, less crunchy, and the chocolate tastes cheaper. We want the old recipe back, the one that actually tasted like something special. Sunny Boys were the official ice block of Australian summer, and nothing has ever matched them. That pyramid-shaped tetrahedron filled with frozen cordial, usually orange but sometimes lemon or cola. You'd squeeze it from the bottom as it melted, pushing the ice up into your mouth. They were sixpence from the milk bar, and on a scorching hot day they were worth their weight in gold. The flavour was intense, artificial in the best possible way, pure concentrated, cordial, frozen solid. Sunny Boys disappeared in 2016 after 60 years, and Australian summers have been worse ever since. We want the original Sunny Boys back, exactly as they were, no changes, no improvements. These weren't fancy yum cha dim sims. These were the Australian invention, huge steamed dumplings sold at every milk bar. They were massive, the size of your fist, filled with mystery meat and cabbage, wrapped in thick dough. You'd get them freshly steamed from the bain-marie behind the counter, burning hot, wrapped in paper. 2 dim sims was a meal, 3 dim sims was a feast, and you'd drown them in soy sauce. They still exist technically, but the quality has dropped dramatically and most milk bars are gone anyway. But the cheat sudden. Proper ones from the 60s, made fresh daily, were in a completely different league. Must sticks still exist, but somewhere along the way they changed the recipe and ruined them. In the 1960s, musk sticks had a strong, distinctive flavour that was almost perfume-like, floral and sweet and completely unique. They were bright pink, powdery, and they'd dissolve slowly in your mouth, leaving this incredible aftertaste. You'd buy them loose from the jar at the milk bar. 2 cents worth would get you 5 or 6 sticks. Modern musk sticks taste watered down, like someone decided the original flavour was too strong. But the original flavour was the whole point, that weird distinctive taste that you either loved or hated. We want the old recipe back, the one that actually tasted like something. Every bakery in the 1960s made meat pies from scratch, and you could taste the difference. These weren't frozen corporate pies. These were made that morning by actual bakers who cared. The pastry was buttery and flaky. The meat inside was real chunks of beef and gravy, not mystery slurry. They cost a shilling, maybe 1 in 6 for a fancy one, and they were absolutely worth it. Modern meat pies are mostly gravy and gristle with bits of meat-flavoured gel, and the pastry tastes like cardboard. We want real meat pies back, made by real bakers, with real ingredients. The milkman would deliver glass bottles to your doorstep every morning, and the cream would rise to the top overnight. You'd see that thick layer of cream under the foil cap, and you'd know the milk was real and fresh. It was full cream, unhomogenized, the way milk is supposed to taste when it hasn't been processed to death. Cold from the fridge, it tasted rich and sweet and satisfying in a way that modern milk simply doesn't. Now, milk comes in plastic bottles, it's been homogenized and standardized, and it tastes like white water. We want real milk back, delivered in glass bottles with cream on top. Cobber was a chocolate-covered caramel bar that was chewy and sticky and absolutely delicious. It came in a distinctive blue wrapper, and every kid knew that buying a cobber meant your jaw was going to get a workout. The caramel was thick and required serious chewing. It would stick to your teeth and last forever. You'd buy one for 3p and it would keep you occupied for a solid 10 minutes of determined chewing. They disappeared in the early 2000s after nearly 80 years, and nothing has replaced them. We want cobbers back. The original ones that actually required effort to eat. These weren't just lollies, they were affordable luxuries that every kid could buy with their pocket money. Redskins were raspberry-flavoured chews that were hard as rocks when you first bit into them. Choo Choo bars were chocolate-flavoured chews, a bit softer, with a distinctive taste nothing else matched. A penny would get you one, and the milk bar would have them in big jars behind the counter. They still technically exist, but they cost a fortune now, and the quality isn't the same. In the 60s, they were democratic lollies. Anyone could afford them, and that made them special. Every suburb had a proper cake shop in the 1960s, and every cake shop made fresh lamingtons daily. These weren't the dry supermarket versions. These were made that morning with real sponge cake. The sponge was light and fluffy, the chocolate coating was rich and generous, the coconut was fresh and sweet. They cost 6p each, and they were a proper treat for special occasions or weekend afternoon tea. Every cake shop had their own recipe, and people had fierce loyalties about which shop made the best ones. Modern lamingtons are mass-produced, dry, mean with the chocolate, and the coconut tastes stale. Passioner was a passion fruit-flavoured soft drink that tasted like Australian summer in liquid form. It came in glass bottles that you'd return for the deposit, and it was sweet and tangy and utterly distinctive. The flavour was intense passion fruit, not subtle, just pure concentrated tropical taste. It was uniquely Australian, made from Australian passion fruit, and it tasted like nowhere else in the world. They still make Passioner technically, but they've changed the recipe multiple times and it's not the same. We want the original Passioner back, in glass bottles, tasting exactly the way it used to. Fantails still exist, but they've lost what made them special in the 1960s. Each individually wrapped caramel would have a fact about a movie star printed on the wrapper. You'd buy a box, eat the caramels, and learn about Hollywood stars while you chewed. Kids would collect the wrappers, trade them, quiz each other on obscure movie star trivia. It made eating lollies feel slightly productive, like you were learning something even while indulging. We want the original Fantails back with proper movie star facts worth reading. Devon, also called Fritz or Polony depending where you lived, was a staple of every kid's lunch in the 60s. But it wasn't the pre-packaged supermarket stuff. It was cut fresh from a huge roll at the butcher. The butcher would slice it thick, and you'd get it wrapped in white paper, still slightly cool. It had actual flavour, a slight smokiness, a texture that was firm but not rubbery. The Devon from the butcher tasted like real meat, not like the processed pink mystery paste you get now. We want real Devon back, cut fresh from the butcher, tasting like actual food. Every public pool had a canteen that sold these simple ice blocks that were absolutely perfect. They weren't fancy branded products, just frozen cordial on a stick, either orange or lemon. They cost 3p, and after swimming for hours in chlorinated water, they tasted like heaven. They were simple, cheap, unpretentious, and perfectly suited to their purpose. Modern pool canteens sell expensive branded products that cost $5 and don't taste as good. Friday night was fish and chips night, and you'd walk down to the shop to get them fresh. The fish was real flake, thick and meaty, coated in proper batter that was crispy and golden. The chips were thick cut potatoes, fried in beef dripping, crunchy outside and fluffy inside. And they'd wrap it all in newspaper, actual newspaper that would soak up the grease and keep everything hot. You'd walk home with this warm bundle, the smell driving you crazy with anticipation. Now they wrap fish and chips in white paper, they use vegetable oil, and it's not the same. We want proper fish and chips back, wrapped in newspaper, cooked in beef, dripping, the way it used to be. 15 foods from 1960s Australia that we desperately want back. Some of them still exist in name, but the recipes have changed. The quality has dropped, the soul has disappeared. Others are completely gone, discontinued, forgotten, consigned to memory. We've gained convenience and variety, supermarkets full of options from around. But we've lost the foods that defined Australian childhoods, the taste that made us who we are. Which one of these do you miss the most? What would you bring back if you could?